It's all good. All right, folks, we are live for another State of the Whale. Can you believe it? This is a very special one because this is our third one, triple whale, 3 in a row.
Wow.
As always, we're joined with co-founders, fearless leaders, Max and AJ. Max and AJ, how goes it?
Great. We're in my home office because our internet and power went out at the office downtown.
Yeah.
We'll change the scenery over here.
Thanks, WeWork. That's credits over there. All jokes aside, it's a fun office over there.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into it. AJ, Max, you guys want to take over and tell the people what they can expect, what we've been doing, where we're going, that kind of stuff?
Of course. How do we see how many people are here?
There's 2 watching. I don't know why. I think it's because maybe I'm the host, but there's 2 currently on right now.
Okay, great. Okay,
Cool.
so let's go start. So where are we holding this week? Things are moving really, really well. I think the Pixel rollout is going well. Customers are really liking it.
It's beautiful.
I think like we hit product market fit on Triple Proper, and now we're hitting product market fit on the Pixel. There's a lot more to come on the Pixel right now. So aggregated customer journeys are coming early next week, which are the amazing screen that you shared, Rabba.
Cool.
Hi Corey, how you doing? And then there is also Cappy, the conversion API, also coming early to mid next week as well. I mean, Corey could talk more about that. Actually, we have to catch up on it later today, Corey. And then we have a little more work on the Pixel itself. I think we can get the Pixel even better where it is right now. We're not quite sure exactly how much better we can get it, but we're pretty confident there's a little more that we can squeeze out of the Pixel. So we're excited about that as well. I think that will also be done by the end of next week. At that point, I don't think we'll be able to get any better past next week. Like I don't think it won't be possible. At that point, we will hit 100% tracking on clicks, right, Corey? I don't think there'll be
on clicks itself, right? Exactly.
Yeah, on clicks itself. Like we won't be anywhere to go at that point. We'll be at the. It's just impossible to get more data on clicks at that point.
It seems like the next place to go is like the visualizations and the data.
Yeah. I think at this point already we're there on some store. Most stores we're there. I think there's some stores that maybe are heavier stores that at least the leading theory that I have in my head, maybe Corey agrees with me, maybe not, is that maybe on some stores with heavier loads, maybe our script is not loading every single time because they have a lot of other plugins. And so that may be the only time that we're missing some page load events for stores that have a lot of other like gibberish code, I would say, right? Not clean. But on clean stores right now, we're already there. I think we'll be there across all of our stores by the end of next week. So that's exciting. And we are starting. I just got off a meeting right now. Before this meeting, I got off with the AI team. So essentially we just formed, Sasha, our lead AI developer, now is joined by Shmulik, also with background in AI as well.
There we go.
So
I wish more people knew how to code and like read code because Sasha is hilarious. This guy jokes all day. It's like I don't know who he's telling these jokes to. It's like who's reading your? It's just like one other person reading your code, Sasha.
We have fun everywhere. I would say I find it funny that some of our competitors try to make fun of us because we use memes, right? And like, you guys are a meme company, not a deep tech company. I'm like, okay, I think we can like memes and also be, very deep on tech.
Tech?
I don't think anyone's deeper than us. Like, we have fun. Yeah, exactly. Sasha's writing jokes while he's writing AI. I think that's fine. While he's writing his own.
As long as it works.
Yeah. So in the AI department, I think there's 3 things right now that we're working on essentially in the immediate term. I know what the timeline on this is. Is it the 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks? But essentially it's all within 3 to 4 weeks. That's for sure. One of them is predicting your ROAS of tomorrow. Essentially, that's the most experimental project and the one that I'm most excited about. Can we give you directional predictions on a campaign ads at an ad level? Essentially, the start of really an automated buyer. But I think that would give you just imagine going into a campaign, seeing a spread of possibilities, and us telling you with confidence, like 95% confidence your ROAS in this campaign will be X tomorrow.
And then this is what it was next day.
Exactly.
And hit it.
Exactly. And then you can decide basically, okay, do I want to increase my budget in that or not? But there'll be no surprises essentially, right? So that's very exciting. And then also being able to predict people that came to your website today, what the likelihood of them buying is, as well as being able to predict LTV based on historical trends and baking both of those into the 1 day forecasting essentially. one-day click forecasting would consist of both of those different AI projects, right? The LTV forecasting and the one-day click, essentially the people that didn't buy. That would go into that. I do think that those two are very doable. They're very easy, I would say, in terms of projects. So 1 to 10, those are like a 3 in terms of complexity. Predicting LTV has been done a million times before. We're not the first. And predicting if people will buy, also we're not the first. Predicting tomorrow's ROAS, we would be the first to do that. And we'll let you guys know. Essentially, the way to think of this, guys, for everyone on listening on this, is that one thing that I used to do when I was working with Max on ads is I wish there was an AI team that's trying to squeeze out performance out of my ads. That's what we're doing, guys. We got an AI team, we got data, we got a lot of it, and we're going to work as hard as we can to squeeze out as much performance as we can for you. So I'm very excited about this. Corey, are you excited?
I can't wait. This was like the whole Pixel project is great to give attribution, but that was all it means to an end for me. Like I'm super stoked. I can't wait.
Yeah, I think that's a misconception of like our company. People are like, oh, are you guys an attribution company or an analytics company? No,
that's what it looks
we're a
like.
data automation company. We happen to have a pixel and a camera. We happen to also have built the best one in the industry, but that's just to get clean data to feed into the models.
Yeah.
Right. And
I think the magic's just beginning now.
Exactly. I think that's essentially, Corey, when people ask us what's our difference, right? So what would you say? Like, what's the difference between the triple pixel versus other platforms? Or other attribution
it's
solutions?
like the context that I think you just summed it up so well. I think the context that most people are asking that question is like a one-to-one scenario, right? It's just like data collection. Like, how do you collect data differently? How do you collect data differently than this person? And that's typically the focus of the question is how do we collect data differently? And like you just mentioned, we've put a lot of stock and a lot of time and investment in ensuring that we have the best camera system out there. But the major difference is that all the other players that I'm aware of that have their cameras are essentially just storing, like your VHSs and your DVDs are just like in the closet somewhere and they're just all piling up. That's essentially what all these data aggregation companies are doing. They're just storing the data back in some warehouse and you get just a ROAS number and that's it. Like that's where we're just majorly different. Like the vision of what we want to do with the data is just not even comparable.
Yeah, I completely agree with Corey. And here's one of the secrets actually in the industry, and I don't think our competitors would say this out loud, right? And Corey, you can go down this rabbit hole, right? No, of course you say it. Like the pixel tech is not complicated, guys, right? I mean, it is complicated before you understand it, but essentially, I won't mention our competitors, but there's like 5 of them on the market. Essentially, guys, they're all using the same tech. Like, we have a pixel that's better. No, the tech itself is very, on the fundamental level,
what can you do with it?
Very, very similar. Now, do we, get 5% better or 10% better? Maybe, right? Are we benchmarking ourselves compared to our competitors? Of course we are, right? But that said, like that wouldn't be a reason for me to buy Triple Whale. If I was on the market trying to compare us to other solutions, I wouldn't be like, oh, Triple Whale's camera is better. I would say Triple Whale's camera is just as good, and the data that we're going to use is going to be.
I've even gone as far as to there's an analogy out there. Like it's just an analogy. Don't take it for anything. Our camera could be 50% worse, and yet we would still give you more value to buy media and to increase your revenue and decrease lost spent. Right? Like you don't need all the information to make great decisions. What do they say? 20% of the work or
results.
Pareto
20% of the result. Right, exactly. You guys know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
And so
we
want to have the best camera. Like we're not discounting our camera. We have the best camera, but just keep that in mind. It's about the insights that you can actually utilize.
Let's go down the insight.
No, so actually, what Corey's talking about here is very interesting. Essentially, predicting tomorrow's next dollar spent is essentially abstracting away attribution. Essentially, when you look at attribution, what are you asking? At the fundamental, Rob, what are you asking when you ask about attribution?
Yeah, so attribution is ultimately a proxy of participation. And so I'm looking at how did this piece of content or ad or whatever participate in the sale of or the conversion or whatever action you're trying to do. And so I think the point you're getting at is how cool would it be if we just calculated all that and just said, hey, this guy's a killer, that guy's a killer, and just scale that up.
what I'm saying is that you said it correctly. All I want to know is if I spend more money here, will I make more money there? I do not care about was it a 1.3, a 1.37, or a 1.42. It's irrelevant. If I spend more money here, do I make more money over there? That
Wait, which
answer
model
to-
should I use? Should I use first click? Should I use last click? Should I use
It's
last click
irrelevant.
plus view? Wait,
Right.
what about data driven?
You want to derive direction from attribution.
Exactly, and essentially triple whale. Like I would say, first of all, right now, just having the full suite of triple whale plus the dashboard that we built out and the camera already is 10x better than any of our competitors or any other solution on the market. We just put in the AI that we're building out currently, and it's just not even the same product. It maybe uses the same tech to get there, but it's fun. It's like saying that a Tesla and I don't know, a regular car are just an electric car. No, there's a fundamental difference between them. It might be also electric, but it also self-driving. Oh, it's a small thing. No, it's actually very fundamentally different, right? And that's essentially what triple whale is. Triple whale is fundamentally different product than any other one that I think exists on the market. And I think this is just like, to put in context, this is just one part of the suite of AI tools that we're building out right now. So we're very excited.
Yeah, and if I could put a bow on that as well, I think a ton of value comes from, again, and we talked about it on past podcasts and past State of the Whales, is the confluence of the reporting and the tracking. And so having this camera system, but as well as being able to derive actionable insights from the data that you're getting from that camera system. Like if you have the best camera system ever, but then you're supposed to find patterns in a spreadsheet, like good luck, man. That's the whole point of graphs. Isn't because graphs are pretty. It's because it's really hard to find patterns in big spreadsheets, but it's really easy to look at peaks and valleys or see these big anomalies when something's graphed. And so that to me is where I think a lot of rubber meets the road, where yes, I do agree that our camera system is at worst just as good as everybody else, at best better than everybody else. But what other people aren't doing is they're focusing on, quite frankly, things that don't drive value, where what we're doing is trying to get as many things out of your way as possible and just surface the right information at the right time so you can make decisions and then move on with your day.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Eat it up. I'll eat all that up. That was perfect.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing actually talking about graphs, actually, Rabba. So essentially, just an update on that. So we right now worked on importing all of Facebook's data into our own database instead of just calling Facebook's data every single time. Essentially, it unlocks two tasks for us. First of all, it unlocks the beginning of the AI, just because we have to feed all that data back into the AI models. And it also unlocks the ability to build graphs on top of Facebook. So both segments. So what also segments, but both, we're talking about graphs right now. But yes, so both for the, like on the Pixel dashboard right now, where if everyone's used to using it right now, you'll be able to start seeing graphs like on a campaign ad set and ad level for all the different metrics, for triple metrics and for Facebook metrics like CPM, CTC, CTR, ROAS over time. And also on the creative dashboard, we're going to start having trend graphs, and you'll be able to. That's going to be very helpful.
I think that was a big miss from Facebook. I think
well,
dialing back when Facebook. They had like the report. They have the reporting area on trends, but I've seen some people have the beta feature where you can see spend as a trend. Have you ever seen that in a Facebook ad account?
I just remember
in the actual campaign row or ad set row, like literally in the row, you have a trend object. And it hasn't gone like system wide, but like when you're looking at data, you're just looking at the moment in time of the data, and you got to keep all this contextual knowledge of what direction the account's going. What direction is CPA going? What direction is ROAS going? And it becomes.
I just remember Facebook's analytics. It was.
That was fun.
Awesome. Oh, you didn't? I thought the Facebook analytics tool was awesome, man. They had you could do all sorts of.
The specific tool, the analytics tool.
It's very clunky and like hard to use. I remember.
It was definitely not easy to use, but it was a high level tool. I mean, they were pulling in.
Usually the high level tools are hard to use.
Yeah, usually exactly.
Fair point. Yeah. Hey, fair point.
Okay.
But they're important.
So let's move on from riffing about AI in the future and what's happening. First of all, guys, just for all our triple whale purchasers and for all other people listening, including our competitors, I don't know who else is listening to this.
Yeah.
Our AI is coming soon, guys, and it's going to be big, okay? And it's going to come first to ads, but then it's going to come to every single part of the app. One thing we're realizing right now as we build more features into Triple Whale, essentially we're realizing that a lot of the older products on the market, I don't want to name them, right, that have larger, a lot of other features, right? What happens is you get data overload. And a lot of us, like me and Max and, Rob, Corey, we all come from business, like either agency owners or store owners. I think Corey and Rob, you guys are more on the scale of almost the most technical people I know in the industry, right? In terms of skill of ad buying.
Sure.
I think most people are actually closer to me and Max by far than you guys in terms of their knowledge of how to use tools.
I'm just like spray and pray.
I
was.
Shotgun
It
method.
used to be easy to do that.
Yeah.
Throw it at the wall, baby. It sticks. Some sticks.
I think
It used to work.
a lot of SMBs right now, right? A lot of Shopify store owners are like me and Max. They don't have the time to go through every tool. And so Triple Whale right now, if we didn't build AI, essentially we turn it to every other tool on the market, which is just a million dashboards that you can go into and get lost. What we're working on really hard right now over the next 3 to 4 months is really how can we build the automated insight driver for your store? How can we tell you which buttons to move on your store that actually move the needle for you? And that's really exciting. That is really exciting.
Yeah, it's super exciting. And kind of touching on the camera analogy just one last time, the ability to have all of your camera systems linked up, where previously you basically have all these different disparate camera systems where Facebook's its own camera, Klaviyo's its own camera, TikTok's its own camera.
Inquire's its own camera.
Inquire's its own camera.
No.
And not only that, guess what? We can pull in your actual economics from your business. Like it's just whoosh, for me, where that to me is the most exciting part, is having this cohesive layer that isn't agnostic from the actual economics of the business. Oh man, that makes my heart sing. I think that's one of the biggest value adds that we give right now.
One fascinating thing about building Triple Whale is you start building things and all of a sudden you build things by accident. Like we didn't think about building a CDP, right? A customer data platform. And we can go into what a CDP is exactly, but we built it by accident. Like we have your purchase history and all of a sudden now we have your whole journey, right? And so essentially we got a CDP right now. So now how do we let you guys export that data and use it in your Klaviyo and Attentive and Facebook?
That's something interesting too. I feel like the CDPs are so essentially, just to hit on that, like CDP, it's just simply these tools out there that watch a customer profile either by name, by email, by phone number, or some associations, and they watch everything that they're doing across your entire ecosystem and pulling it into one profile. Well, a lot of those, oddly enough, haven't done a lot with the ad tech, with the advertisers. Right. It seems like more of a product analytics focus and more like business admin level focus.
I was talking to Asia today about the CDP.
Telium is one example of that, guys. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Telium. It's Telium.
Actually, I do.
It's an enterprise level CDP for brands. Essentially, what they do well is they exclude past customers for your retargeting, and some people are willing to pay if you have a million customers or 2 million customers, and you're an enterprise client, that could end up being $250K a month in saved ad spend that you're not wasting. And so, how can we bring those tools downstream to regular Shopify merchants?
They sell it for a lot of money.
$100K a month, some deals, right? There's no Shopify store paying us $100K a month unless it's Warby Parker.
I didn't know Warby's in the pipeline. All right, there's a really nice shop here in SoCo. Big shop. Anyways, allegedly. Fantastic. Okay, enough pontificating. You want to jump into questions, or you still want to keep riffing, AJ?
No, let's keep on going a little more. I think also people talking about going up market, right? So Triple Whale really was built essentially for Max's store, for Madison, which was a $7 million a year brand. When we started bringing on bigger brands,
MadisonBraids.com, go shop, plug there.
Still support it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No, it is still.
So essentially, when we started bringing on larger stores, it didn't work originally, right? We brought on a couple of stores doing 20 million a year, and we had a very rough time. And so now actually we have a lot of brands right now that are doing a lot of money on the platform, and we are building the infrastructure. So I think right now our limit is like 100 to 150 million in annualized revenue, but we are actively working on making the infrastructure more robust so we can support brands up to 500 million. I don't think if Nike knocked on our door in the next 3 months, we can support them. but hopefully in the next year at some point.
Are they on Shopify?
No, I don't think they're.
No way.
I don't
These
know.
big guys are
Doubtful.
on like.
I don't
Yeah.
think
We're not.
have-
We're listen. We're not far away. The recent migration that we did internally with moving over to Bigtable was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that could support anything, but like,
Yeah.
how big was the biggest brand that hit us up on the wait list? They're like a multinational, right? $500-600 million. Yeah. So we should get back to them soon. Yeah.
That's proper money. Yeah.
It's proper.
Yeah. That's some decent guap there.
So I
500
want to talk quickly about other things. Rob, why don't you jump to questions, and then if we're missing some stuff at the end, I'll jump into them.
Okay, beautiful.
Cool.
You answered this on Twitter's already, but
I
just
can
to
go
kind of
back
give the
into that.
folks. Yeah.
Corey, you want to take this one?
Yeah. So Google Ads integration. Let's hear. Like, I gotta pull up like my chat with you, AJ. Google has been pulling our legs, like our fingers, and poking us. So when you open up a new API integration with one of these companies, you have to submit an application. If you've ever submitted this application, you already know where I'm going with this conversation. It is like the most. You have one button undone. There's a piece of lint on your shirt over here. It's like, are you kidding me? So we've been submitting the application for the past week and a half, and so they come back and they say, hey, on your landing page it says that Amazon's coming soon. We only give approval to companies that have fully built their product. It's like, what? A feature is coming soon. What do you mean? And so then we resubmit, and they're like, oh, well, your button, you're not using the Google logo in your button. We want the Google logo.
No
in your
other
button.
company asked. Listen, we have a love-hate relationship with Google. Obviously, we use the Google Suite internally, and we use them as our backend cloud, and we love that. But oh my gosh, this. Corey, I had an idea actually when I was doing the API submissions originally for Triple Whale. I was like, I should build a company that all they do is do API submissions as a service.
Listen, yes, that is literally a business model.
Forget
right
about
now.
EPL, right? Just managing the relationships of the APIs for companies.
Yeah, sure.
It's ridiculous. I feel like there was one more crazy thing that they did, but that was enough, right? It's like we're just going back and forth now. It's like, hey, we're a pretty big company here. We got some money over here. Check our server bills with Google. We're a production company.
We are paying. We are paying you guys a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the short on that is that within the next this morning at 6 a.m. I got the button logo email, so I replied to them immediately. So within the next 48 hours, we should have
Google.
This is Google Ads. So we should either have, and all this is affecting, guys, for the people who have want to install Google Ads, is that you get this pop-up saying AJ at gmail.com is not approved. But you just click advanced underneath it, and you can go through and still connect your Google Ads.
Corey, I think we might have hit 100 already.
We maxed out yesterday.
Might have maxed out already. Yeah.
Okay.
So
there it is. So pending application.
Pending application, sit tight. The ball is in the wonderful folks at Google's court, and we'll make sure to expedite that as quickly as possible.
You get that in there.
Sensational. You want to keep rolling? Next one. What is the Cappy status?
Corey.
Cappy. So my guy Sasha. Right now, what we're trying to figure out for everyone. A lot of you have Shopify. And when you install the pixel through Shopify, you no longer have control over your pixel. Okay, not a problem. Shopify is sending conversions back to you to Facebook, but we believe that the match rate could be much higher than what Shopify is currently sending back. So we're doubling down into sending back events through Triple Whale server side. So what does this mean for your Shopify Cappy integration? What does this mean for your pixel installation? So what we've been testing over the past day is how do we recommend for you as a Shopify store owner, some other companies out there have mentioned that you can set up a new pixel and only send the Triple Whale server events to this new pixel. Okay. Let me take a step back. The problem with sending data with your pixel and sending data with the server is Facebook needs to know that these are the same events. How to deduplicate these events? A purchase happened with the Facebook browser pixel. A purchase happened with the server. Is this the same purchase? Now, even if the name's the same, even if the email's the same, it could essentially be a second purchase. So Facebook doesn't know that this is the same purchase event. So what we need to do is hijack your pixel in a sense is inform your pixel with this event ID. This event ID will fire off with the Facebook pixel in the browser. It'll say this purchase has this event ID. And then our server will send a purchase. And Facebook will see this purchase with this event ID, and they'll see that event IDs match. And so they'll dedupe it. Okay. But that means that you need to be able to add this event ID into your Facebook pixel. Well, Shopify is managing your Facebook pixel.
Right.
So what do we do here? So we need to either create a new pixel and send triple well server data back to that pixel option.
But with the problem with that is, Corey, what's the problem with that?
Well, but the problem is now you have a brand new pixel with no historical data, and you're not going to go wild with that. Yeah, you may test, maybe set up some new ad with that, and just one ad and see how that goes. But how do you keep the ball rolling the way it's been and just improving your match rate? So what we're testing right now is to be able for you to remove the pixel from Shopify. Shopify will no longer have your pixel control over the pixel. You manually install your Facebook pixel into your Shopify Liquid, how it typically was until Shopify took control of that. And then we just add this little piece of snippet at the end of your Facebook code. We'll have a video on exactly how to do it, but you just add this little event ID variable into your Facebook pixel, and then that will work like magic. So right now we're just kind of going through best implementation as well as validating the match rates, right? The whole purpose of us doing this is if we can improve the match rate, right? Shopify is already doing happy for you, and our goal is to improve the match rates for you. And so we already know that we're very confident that, add to carts, initiate checkouts, and purchases will be able to get a higher match rate. And even on page views, we can get a higher match rate. We're just not really that interested in it right now because there's a big tax on the server. Every time there's a page view, we have to go find this person's name, email address, phone number, location, anything that we know about this IP address. Somebody asked yesterday on Twitter, they said, well, what's the difference? Like, how can Triple Well send data back to Facebook that's more enriched, that's better? Like only Facebook knows the name. Well, you have returning visitors. And if we know this is a returning visitor, we know that this is their name and this is some of the metadata associated with them, even though it's only a page view. And so we have the opportunity to improve the match rate of page views, add to carts, and any other event that you may be sending.
Corey, is it also like, okay, so someone comes in, they drop their email in a sign-up form, right? And then they continue their journey, they add it to cart. Right, and then we send that back to Facebook. Do we have a higher match rate on that already? Can we get a higher match rate on that with our camera?
Yeah, because essentially Shopify is not doing everything they could with the conversion API. So because they aren't.
Or just here, right? There's an example, right? I remember this. We saw this in our logs, right? Shopify's cookie is a client-side cookie, right? So if their cookie got deleted or they moved devices, even within, we can do cross-device tracking.
Can do cross-device, yeah.
And so these types of examples are things that we can pick up data, or we pick up data even with VPNs and with ad blockers.
The most common issue with the Shopify CAPI is that when in the mobile apps, let's just say Facebook app, you click an ad, it opens this, what we call an in-app browser, an IAB, in-app browser. And so Shopify can see what's happening inside this in-app browser. But after you scroll around, you're interested, you're like, okay, I want to keep this open. I want to get back to my Facebook newsfeed, all this juicy content. So I'm going to click open in new browser. Well, the moment you did this, Shopify is going to generate a new cookie. And it doesn't know the UTMs of the prior session. So now Shopify doesn't know that this actually came from this ad click with this click ID because that data is no longer there. And they also don't know that this is the same browser because a new cookie has been generated. So Shopify is missing a lot of that data just off of that interaction alone. Just the simple fact of you opening the web page you intended to open in your actual browser.
Yeah.
Thank Facebook for that.
So Corey, we would love to give people like numbers on how much we improve the match rate and how much we improve your overall ROAS based on getting better data. And once we have that data, we'll obviously share it. And if it's not true, we'll also share that. Like if you can't get better than what Shopify rated with Facebook,
just see the match.
We will share that as well with the industry. I know there's a lot of promises in the industry about what can be done and what can't be done. We are going to be fully transparent about what we can do here. And I think part of part of the reason we can be transparent is because attribution is just one of the many things that we do here.
Exactly.
And so like if we were just an attribution solution, right, I'd be wary of trusting us because essentially our money or our reputation, everything rides on the fact that we can promise that we give you a bump because of our improved attribution.
Right.
What we do to give you
We'll
the
lower
best.
your CPA by 30 or 50%.
Yeah, no. So we don't give those claims. Exactly, Corey. Exactly.
Would it be helpful to like have a?
I got an ad by the way like that today. I got an ad like that. I was like, oh, okay.
Maybe this
You know.
Listen, it's a great offer, right? I'd jump at that offer. Oh my
Is
god.
it helpful to visual like a column that shows how many events matched?
We're gonna have first.
Was
We're
that
gonna,
too much?
At first,
Is
no.
too
First, we're gonna
much?
start.
Too much.
No. At first, we're gonna start sending
Thank you.
data back, and then we're gonna start showing you exactly how much data we send back. But at first, we're just
Yeah,
gonna
that's
start
the plan as of
sending data
now. The plan of now is just
Yeah.
to show you how much data we've sent back,
Love it.
so that you have some concept there.
Love it. So yeah, this is
Signal
definitely going to
based.
be, yeah, it's definitely going to be a really big
love
boon. But to be fair, Shopify does not do a horrible job in sending
Exactly.
data back. So you're not going to see this Cambrian explosion of performance, but we will get you some more percentage points there where you might be in the 80 percentile match rate. We'll get you into the 90s kind of thing.
Yeah.
Love it.
Beautiful.
Listen, a percentile can go a long way at some of these, as some of the scales that we're seeing across some of
Sure.
our,
Yeah.
our customers. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Let's
especially
go.
as you get higher scale and bigger ones. Okay, let's kind of keep diving into the pixel. Can you just give us a little bit of the skinny on what does being a first party pixel actually mean, Corey?
Okay, so first party pixel has been achieved by quite a few people. Essentially, you want to store something on the device. This all stems back from cookies. By the way, the triple pixel does not use cookies. Internally, we have like this word coup, and we say this internally cookie, but we actually don't use cookies. And so first party, second party, or third party are not necessarily contextual to how we are storing data. Now, if you're considering Google Analytics, if you're considering some other third party tool, essentially, let's talk about the Facebook pixel. The Facebook pixel used to place a third party cookie on your website. All third party cookie meant was that the cookie was being placed by an external source, not the source of the website. And so 2018, 2017, Apple creates this ITP program and they start shutting down third party cookies. So Facebook then updates their cookie to a first party cookie. All that necessarily means is that they've changed the name of the domain of the cookie. There's this cookie that has a domain name, and it used to be facebook.com. Well, now that you just toggle a button in your Facebook account, and now they just set it as yourdomain.com. And so now to the browser, it's first party.
Put in perspective, guys. Facebook cookie is a first party cookie, right? It's important
Correct.
to like. A lot of these terms in the market have been there to market essentially, right? And so Corey's going to cut through a lot of that right now and explain what it is. So again, first party cookies, Facebook falls in that category of first party cookies, at least in the JavaScript side of it, right? On the front end of it.
Correct.
Okay, so
Correct.
keep on going, Corey.
Super technical stuff.
But this is important.
Yeah.
People in the market are comparing different solutions, and they might get like a requirement from their boss or from someone else saying, I'm looking for a first party. You got it. Facebook got it for you. Right? So, well, what do you get with the other services and with Triple, and what do they actually do differently? Right. That's essentially the question that would be the next one.
Exactly. So, like, what does a first party pixel actually mean? It means that the browser sees what this cookie that is first party. Now, this is just kind of how browsers are built. So, Apple was like, okay, hold on. Third parties can appear as first parties. So what are we going to do? So Apple just said, you know what? Any cookie. I don't care if it came from you. I don't care if it came from your friend or someone you didn't even know was doing a cookie on your website. All of you guys got to go after 7 days of inactivity. Okay. So this is what the first party cookie is. And this also goes into session. Like there's a couple different layers where you can store things. You can store things in a cookie. You can store things in session storage or in local storage, and as well as cache. So we take utilization of all of them because they're not all treated equally. Cookies can be deleted in 24 hours, whether they're first party or third party. Local storage can be deleted by Apple's ITP program. And so there's multiple layers of technology that you need to put in place. And so being a first party pixel is just one of the things that you want to be. But it doesn't solve all your use cases because the Apple ITP program is clearing out even first party data.
So essentially, Corey, what you're saying is that if you're buying a first party pixel and all they did is change it to first party, you're not buying anything. You got it already from Facebook. Essentially, what our competitors have built and what we've built in this space is also just to understand the context, right? We're not saying our competitors are not.
And then there's just some cloaking. There's some other things that they're trying to do, right? They're trying to appear as the website themselves.
Sure.
Apple figured this out. It's called Cname Cloaking. Like, what people were asking was, hey, create a subdomain. Some of the largest companies in the industry were asking people to do this and still are. Create a subdomain, sub.mywebsite.com. Point that back to our IP address. We did something similar. We actually did a better method using the A record, a little bit more ideal. But essentially, there's a lot of security risks with doing this too.
Sure.
Like maybe this stuff is so technical that we just want to be at, like, how do I buy media better? Like, how do I just make more money with my ads?
I'm already full.
Okay, so let's go back. Thumbs up. Corey is basically saying that what we've done in Triple Whale here, right, essentially is we utilized every different part of the browser, or every different place that we can track. We're tracking and we're combining these different methods into one super SWAT, what do you call those knives? Like Swiss knife, army knife, right? Of attribution, right? Where essentially, no matter what you do, we follow you around, right? Yeah. We know who you are, we follow you around, and we do click-based attribution, right? And we get that down 100%. And it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. Not in 2 months.
I didn't take this picture. I should have taken the picture down. There's a new billboard. I'll take a picture and I'll send it to you guys. You'll love it. So I look out the window, new place, and I look out the window, and big billboard. It says, "Tired of being tracked online? Use DuckDuckGo." I'm like, yeah, good luck.
I love it.
It's not going to stop us.
I love it. Oh, Max is
DuckDuckGo. I love it. Oh, I love it.
It's like, duck, no goose.
Oh, that's good. I haven't used that in a while. Very, very unique search engine. Very interesting value prop for sure. Okay, cool. So basically, the too long didn't read there is first party pixel doesn't mean as much as you think it does. There's a lot of convoluted meanings and extrapolations that come from that. So just know that if somebody's selling you a first party pixel without any of the kind of other value adds, there's not a lot that you're going to get from it that you're not getting from your Facebook pixel already. Sensational.
You're getting that, just distilling information.
And even to go one layer more on that, because I think this is low enough to take away, is about maybe 20 to 50, depending on your business, usually only about 20% of purchases happen outside of the 7-day window. So we're really talking about this first party. The whole goal is to be able to track the journey as long as it is.
Sure.
And a lot of all this new privacy stuff really only affects after 7 days.
Corey, what about iOS pre 7 days, right?
Okay.
If someone opted out of tracking, right, and let's say Facebook has a 1-day view, 7-day click, right? What happens then on those 7 days for the people that opted out?
Exactly. So in that case, we're no longer talking about first party or third party. We're talking about simply another privacy thing that Apple has done, ATT, app tracking transparency. So when I open up the Facebook app, Facebook can say, do you want me to track everything you do today and tomorrow and for the rest of your life? And you're going to say, no, I do not want this. And so once your store sends back this event to Facebook, Facebook's going to look at this and say, oh, I know this is John Doe. John Doe asked me not to track them. So I'm going to send this event over to aggregated event measurement, to AEM, and then black box from there. Maybe the event gets reported today, tomorrow, or the next day. Maybe it doesn't get reported. Maybe an event was already reported. Maybe an add to cart was already reported, because AEM will only report one of your 8 events. And so maybe an add to cart was already reported, and now you're not getting the purchase. And so,
So
then
Corey,
you have fragmented data.
is that how Facebook sometimes, like I look at different accounts and I see sometimes Facebook is reporting higher than the store, right? Facebook's ROAS is a 3 when the store didn't actually sell that much.
Yeah.
So how does that happen with AEM? What's going on there?
Facebook orders matching your Shopify orders is more likely to happen now than it was in the past, because how it used to work in the past was if you had let's say I spent $1,000 on Monday, and then that person clicked on Monday, and then they purchased on Wednesday. Well, Facebook would have given that purchase to Monday because the click happened on Monday, and to do CPA and to do ROAS properly about Monday, we have to synchronize the click with the purchase orders. So it's possible that, let's say you had one purchase today on Wednesday, you would see a purchase, one purchase on your Shopify store, but you would see no purchases in your Facebook ad account. And so maybe you're wondering, oh, Facebook missed the sale. No, actually, Facebook just associated that sale with Monday. And so you may have always had these discrepancies floating around, but may not have noticed them. Now, today, the discrepancies are even more blatant and clear because you can turn something off and yet still have conversion value.
Yeah.
Or you can just get this data dump of AEM's been processing maybe 5-10 orders, and it's done doing whatever it does in that black box, and then it just barfs out 10 orders. But those orders actually happened 3 days ago. Like the order actually happened 3 days ago. Facebook's processing it, and now it just spits it out on whatever day. Like it doesn't like backfill it to the day that the event happened. And all of this is to avoid private matching. So let's say you got 5 orders on this day. Well, I can kind of guesstimate I can see the names, and I can correlate 1-to-1. I can like kind of correlate what they were doing and what this traffic was from, and I can avoid the privacy efforts.
So Corey, so why don't we fall under AEM, right? So essentially, so let me just get back.
Well, inside of our app, right? Like no person has asked Triple Whale to not track them. And maybe we'll start getting some letters in the mail or something, or some emails, some random person on the internet saying, "Hey, can you not track me?"
But I think, Corey, 2 things. First of all, so on the question, how do we do something that Facebook can't? The answer is Facebook could, but they can't legally. And so really the answer is, as a tech company, Facebook is a behemoth. We have a lot of respect for them. They do amazing work, and it's not like we built a magic wheel that all of a sudden sees past Facebook's tech, right?
Exactly.
Facebook is the best attribution company in the world, and anyone that
they do people attribution.
They're the best,
right? Like every other attribution solution does device or browser attribution. Facebook does people. This is who you are.
And so Facebook is sort of handicapped with like 2 hands behind their back because of Apple. Right. And what we're just doing is coming in and giving you that data back because we're giving it to you. It's also important to realize that when we say we're tracking people, like something freaky we did once, right? We realized actually Sasha once shut off the per domain tracking, and he also stored people cross domain. And we actually tracked one of our personal employee, like one of me. We realized, I went out to 3 different stores, right? And I was like, oh, that's really cool. But then you realize, that is like, so all we do right now is if you come to whatever store, Jones Road or whatever store that has a pixel on, we track you and we give that data back to your store. We don't follow Corey around and say, oh, he went to Jones Road and he went to my OV. We don't do that.
Well, we don't build site.
We don't build personal profiles. We're very privacy focused. We don't we essentially we could build profiles of users. We don't do that as a company. It's not our business. It's not what we're in. We're in basically just giving you guys, essentially every merchant could have built this on their own. It would have taken them 2 years and a lot of money, right? And so we're just acting as your data collectors, providing you that data to make better decisions. If Facebook can do it, yes. Do they do it? Yes. Can they give you the data? No. Can we give you the data? Yes. That's basically it.
I had a lot of people playing the skeptic,
sure.
Skepticism is like, well, can't Facebook still do something with this? It's like, I don't know. Maybe they're doing something.
Sure,
black box.
I'll give you 4 reasons why they don't.
Yeah.
The Facebook app, Instagram app, WhatsApp, Messenger. if they piss Apple off, they would get
Yeah.
their head cut off with those 4 things being off of iOS. I'm not a big believer in morals or goodness or badness. I'm a believer in incentives, and that is a huge incentive not to cross that line.
Yeah. I think honestly,
well
I
said.
also think that whatever person you're purchasing your tracking software from, you got to make sure that they're up to speed, because I do think that there's going to be a cat and mouse game throughout the next year, Corey, right? Where essentially you'll have to be on top of the market and know exactly what's happening.
With
And people
privacy
having people like Corey on our team, which are really the world's foremost experts on what's going on in the market. Like, just imagine tomorrow Apple changes something. Triple Whale will be there immediately on that,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
It's got to make sure your turnover time on your tech is that quick, because if it's not, there's going to be a good chance that whatever software you bought in 3 to 6 to 9 months will be relevant. I mean, it could be good for today.
Sure.
Also, on the skepticism part, I don't get why there's skepticism. Just get the Pixel, try it for 3 months. If not, we'll give you your money back. And today, I look at accounts. There's a lot of accounts. First of all, on many accounts, we're reporting higher than Facebook ROAS. Not on all of them, because I can't catch up to Facebook sometimes. Sometimes Facebook is just higher, and like
for these reasons,
they're higher than your store. But even on stores that they're not higher than your store, sometimes we can't catch up because Facebook, I don't know where they get their data from, right? But we're always going to be different than Facebook. And this is what's interesting. You're always on the campaign ad set and ad level going to realize discrepancies that actually can move the needle. Like, I look at stores
on an ad level.
On an ad level, yeah, like this ad, Facebook says 0.3, we see a 2. If you spend more money on that ad, you will make more money, right? Like, just try it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think that's a huge point there. I think a lot of us as media buyers, and even myself, it took so much time looking at the comparison of GA, Facebook, Triple, plus what other pixels I was playing around with over the last year. You're just stuck in this comparison mode, where there's value there, but then it's like uncovering opportunities. When I kind of switched to that mode, it became a little bit more valuable to me, because like you said, I'm looking for opportunities to spend more. That's like my primary focus, is where can I spend more? Where am I profitable, and how can I profit more?
Yeah.
And then secondarily, okay, where should I cut spend? And if I know Triple is a source of truth, and I know how the tech works, and there's the opportunity for maybe some missed sales just because of the nature of how the internet works, okay, I can use Facebook as a signal. I can just use it as a signal. And depending on how those signals has been performing lately, I know a lot of us haven't been seeing good results from just this signal concept. So we're probably going to dial that ad back, because we're looking at Triple as a source of truth. So ad level, find opportunities to scale is like primary goal. And then secondary goal, find some signals to cut back.
On that, I would say 2 things. First of all, what I've been telling people when I get on calls is definitely trust the Pixel on the upside. Wait for enough data. I would say wait. I would say right now we're in the second week of January right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wait till you have the Pixel for 3 or 4 weeks before the Pixel collects enough data to start cutting ads based off the Pixel. But yes, once you have the Pixel installed for more than a month, if we say on click data that we're less than Facebook, trust Triple Whale over Facebook and cut.
Yeah.
And second of all, everyone should be getting a post-purchase survey provider, whether it's Inquire or no. Both amazing providers, both highly recommended. Just get those in. Yeah, because you end up like there are things that we're not going to be able to pick up. Facebook is not going to. No one's be able to pick up that a post-purchase survey will be able to pick up. And the fact that we just bake that into the same report, and the fact that we're the first to do it, is mind-boggling. But it comes back to that idea of just building out integrations plus everything we have just creates a new tool, right?
Totally agree. And again, the other cool things is you're going to get cost per email sign up. You're going to get gross profit at the ad set, ad campaign level. I mean, tons of stuff, but we won't turn this into a product pitch. We have one more question before we go. Tommy from YouTube. I was wondering if we can attribute sales using only the triple pixels. Should we set up our attribution windows for our ads to be as long as possible in platform? That way they would learn faster. So there's a few things going on here. Corey, you can kind of chime in after I hit this, but ultimately the attribution window in platform is, when you say attribution window, I'm guessing you're talking about optimization window, and essentially they're the same now. They've been compressed to basically the same options. They used to not be. But anyways, the too long didn't read there. If you can run your account at a 1-day click, that is the best. However, if you cannot, then you need to open that up into a longer attribution window so you can get more data in on that optimization event.
Touch there more when you say if you can't. So you're talking about the number of events.
Correct. So if your economics, if you're not driving enough events, conversions, add to carts, whatever your optimization event
25
is,
to 50, somewhere in that range.
you need about
per week?
50 a week per campaign. And so that can, vary a little bit, but that's kind of the about 7 a day per ad set type of thing, what it breaks down to. But ultimately, if you can't get that data, then you need to open it back up because that 1 day click is going to be insufficient for you. However, if you do have a high volume of events, 1 day click optimization window is the gold standard. And to give you some color, because I know we're bumping up against it, but ultimately what you're saying is, Facebook, give me somebody that will do this thing today. That customer is loads better than waiting and Facebook finding somebody that is going to do that action within 7 days. That's how you can think about it. Do you want somebody that's going to buy today, or do you want somebody that's going to buy in 7 days? Well, if you can't find somebody that's going to buy today because you don't have the signal integrity or signal volume, then you need to open it back up. And so this is a personal preference of mine, but that's why I don't really like 7 day, because it's kind of in the middle. So I either go 1 day click or I go 7 day click, 1 day view to give it all the data or the most important data. So I hope that kind of answers it a little bit. So it's a bit separate from the triple pixel, because I'm guessing you're talking about the optimization window, but that's what's going on there.
Yeah.
Right.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said.
Beautiful. All right. I
We did
think,
that.
You did that already.
yeah, we did that one, right? Yeah, we're
Mhm.
done, boys.
Okay,
We're
great.
done, boys. You did it.
Fantastic.
You did it. Thank you for the time, Corey. It's fantastic.
problem.
We do have a wonderful newsletter that goes out every Tuesday, Thursday called Whale Mail. You can go sign up right on our Twitter page at Try Triple Whale. Everybody on here is on the Bird app, so go follow us. What else? If you do want to get involved with Triple Whale, you can go sign up at trytriplewhale.com. What else am I forgetting? Anything else, AJ, Max,
That's
Corey?
all good.
Yeah, it's good.
we
Keep
have
the
a new
questions
landing
coming.
page.
Keep the questions coming. Invite a
Oh,
friend.
yeah, we have one new.
We have a new landing page coming, which is gonna be mind blowing. And there's so much coming, guys. There's so much coming. I couldn't be more excited. There's a lot of like moving pieces. Brad got in right now. Essentially, I'm getting fired from the product manager, and Corey, Logan, and Brad are taking over. I think it's gonna be great. I think
gonna be very
I think
good.
Logan and Corey are. I think Logan is one
I'm
of
gonna
the.
miss Brad. I'm gonna miss AJ. There's just
I'm
some
gonna miss-
element to. There's just some element to just like the let's get this. Let's
Corey,
like
don't
just
worry, I'm not.
pushing.
Corey, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not
He ain't going anywhere. This is all in name. This is all in name, not in practice.
But I would say
Fingers were in all the pies.
I couldn't be more excited because Logan has a very deep understanding as a CMO, maybe one of the deepest in the whole industry that I know, of how to run, just how to think of growth as a whole. And then Corey has maybe the deepest understanding of attribution and also of media as well. And then Brad has run a team of over 120 engineers and was part of a $4 or $6 billion startup and came and joined us as a VP engineering. So I think that team together is just going to take the product to the next level. And don't worry, Corey, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be very involved with you guys. It's going to be fun.
All right, folks. Well, that's
got
all we
my
have
ass.
for number
I got my
3
wish.
of State of the Whale. Fantastic. We'll see you next Thursday. Thanks for stopping in, Max, AJ, Corey. Thanks for your guys'
Thank you,
time, and
guys.
thanks for everybody that watched.
people.
And we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Alrighty.